Oh, welcome back to the land where everything's green and it's because of the paint, not because it runs on stupid lithium-ion batteries. So if you're new to the channel, this is my 404 Robert Bosch P-pump engine here. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I really need that. Thank you. But anyway, okay, so what I got here is a terrible misfire. It's off of cylinder 1. It started off, it was running really good. This motor hasn't ran for a really long time. I was out doing some testing on it. Ran great. And then I brought it back inside because I needed to do the exhaust. Anyway, I needed to do the exhaust piece that came off the turbo. I have a bigger one for it, or a longer one. I had to get rid of this. This is off of a combine. So to do that, I ran it for a while to build up some heat, get it good and warm, and you got to tap them off with a hammer. They're a press fit deal. Got it off there, got my exhaust done, and it was spitting and sputtering and just really overall not running very good, shooting about a 1-foot flame out of the exhaust stack, which looked cool, but didn't sound and act very cool because it had like crap for power and yeah. Anyway, so first thing I did is I figured out it was actually cylinder 1, first cylinder in the front. And I know that because when the manifold would heat up, it was completely cold off of number 1. It was very obvious that it wasn't firing. And loading up with fuel, or so I don't know what was going on. But first thing I thought is I should probably check valve lash and to see if there was anything weird going on there, like maybe a valve not closing all the way or something like that. And now if you've seen any of my videos before or seen the how to set valve lash video, these are really simple to set valves on. Now, these first two here on number 1, okay, you get 18 on your intake and 28 on your exhaust. Well, they're dead on, and I did some other ones. So I don't have anything weird. I don't act like I have like a piece of carbon in the exhaust valve or anything like that. It's not really backfiring to speak of. It's just kind of spitting and sputtering. So intake valve shouldn't have any carbon built up in it. So I don't think that is a problem. I really don't have any blow by either. So valves I think are fine. Really no reason to set them because they're right on where they need to be, and well, don't fix it if it ain't broken, right? So what I'm going to do though, and I already pulled the number 1 injector out, and it don't look good. It's definitely wet, not firing, and it looks really cruddy and gross and a lot of rust. So that brings me to the next thing. This thing sat for a really long time. While I'm doing this, I could be working on pulling injectors. It's been sitting for a really long time. So, there we go. Anyway, so what I'm thinking, and what my dad and I were talking about is, well, being that sat for several years, there's also a good possibility that maybe, that one's wanting to stick. So maybe what happened is I got some rust inside that injector, and then over time, oh shoot, the bottom's moving. Over time, maybe I got some rust in there and it worked its way loose, and that could be my problem. Okay, but anyway, so I was going to do the right thing, and I'm going to go have the injectors all gone through because I really don't know what else could be wrong. There we go. Oh, what I've done is, well, I guess you need a 7/8 if these here stick, which they got little clamps on them. They really shouldn't move at all. But what I've done and what I've got here is I got some custom wrenches for doing injector lines. It consists of a 3/4 inch that I took the angle grinder to cut through so I can get through the injector lines. That's to do the top nuts. And now this 15/16, I bent it to make it a very special angle. So you can kind of get in like so here. You don't have to, I mean, that's going to help when you get in certain places. You kind of want it bent up. So all I did with that is I put it this end in the vise and I whaled the snot out of it with a hammer until it was the angle I wanted it. And then all you need is a 7/16 to do the return lines. And that's really all you need. Oh, and what I also made a custom pair of pliers here to fit the little, you know, the little clippy things, because otherwise they're a real pain. This is bothering me. Okay. Why are all these loose on the injection pump? You see now, and that's the other thing. And that could be why the valves don't need adjusting. This engine's got like, oh, I think it was right at 2,800 hours, I thought, is all it's on this engine. But it's a combine engine, so it sat a lot of years not doing anything because it came out with 7,700 combine. But I'm thinking that if I get these injectors gone through, that's going to solve all my problems. Because like I said, it did run good. I'm really good there for a little bit. And the only thing I can think of, now these are steel lines, and if there's, like I said, any water in the fuel, and this thing sat for, say, 10, 15 years, that and around here, I live in northwestern Illinois, so you know, around here in the wintertime we get a lot of frost, and well, you know, with temperature variations you get a lot of condensation. That's why everything rots out around here really bad. And if you want to see some really good examples of that, watch some of Watch West work videos. That guy only lives a couple miles away from me, and man, the crap that he ain't worked on, it's just horrendous. This is the kind of area that your truck will literally rust in half in like 10 years. I mean, it don't even take a long time. It's horrible. So that makes me think, after looking at that injector there, and knowing what I know, that it's probably just stuck wide open and it's flooding itself out or something. I don't know why this thing ain't firing, but I mean, really, what's going to stop a diesel engine from firing? I mean, there's not too many things to to go look after, but it's misfiring because it is not running good. And now it's some of the other, I mean, it ran really crappy for only noticeably misfiring off of one cylinder. It might be not running very good on other ones too, because like I said, it ran like crap. So hopefully I gotta get all these tightened down too. Half of them are loose, and now there's little clips in here that's supposed to hold these things from spinning, and for some reason or not. What I really don't understand is this number 5 cylinder. It ain't got no paint on it, and I don't know if it was one of those John Deere deals, like the farmer took it to Deere and they just, a lot of times instead of fixing the stuff that's broke, they'll just slap a new component in. In this case, a new injector. It's probably reman or something. I don't know. It might be brand new. But I'm questioning all of them at this point. Oh, I'm going to need the 11/16 to hold it. Now, the last time I did a set of injectors, it was on a 4440, and everything went pretty smooth. These injectors really ain't too bad if you got yourself the right tools for the job. Which in my case, I take old tools and make new ones. As a guy should, to save a buck, you know. I'd rather go out to Harbor Freight and get a set of tools from there, because that way I can take every one of them wrenches and cut them up, weld on them, bend them, do whatever I need to do, and save gobs of money on specialty tools, and not feel bad about, you know, cutting and welding and bending my tools, because I didn't pay very much for them. You get what you pay for, but, you know, I'm always on a budget. I don't think I know anybody that's not on a budget right now, do you? I don't. I don't leave the farm very much, though. Okay, 2 more to go. And then we got the injection lines off. Yeah, somebody was definitely here before, and it was probably some rookie, because I tell you what, half this stuff ain't tight. And yeah, I think this is definitely the right course of action here. Just take all the injectors out, take them to the diesel shop, let them go through them. I mean, at least let them clean them up and inspect them and whatnot. Make sure that the spray pattern is good. Maybe I got a bad nozzle. Maybe it's clogged up. Maybe it's got rust in it. Oh wow. I'm betting it's got rust in it. And we'll take a look at that here. This number 5, the one that's been replaced, don't look very great either. Oh, come on. I just want to get this last one off of here. It's always the last one. Get these fancy pants pliers in here. Give me some room. Oh. Okay, we should be all freed up here now. Let's see. All right. Injection lines. Oh my God. The rust is real. It's really real. There's all kinds of crud just, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there's just all kinds of crud there. And now that was underneath the nut, but I mean, you know, you got these little tips there that fit tight down in that cone, but who's to say that these lines ain't full of that? I'm gonna have to probably at least blow them out first before I put it back together. Okay. Now, I dropped my pliers. Oh, there they are. Okay, so now I can take these returns off of here. There's that one. There's that one. Oops. Put that back on. You see, that's what I mean about these pliers. I mean, all you gotta do is take an old pair of, just an old pair of pliers, or, you know, go bargain bin shopping and get you a cheap pair of pliers and just take an angle grinder and make a couple notches in there. And I mean, normally a pair of pliers, you just stick, I mean, they're just gonna go everywhere. I can't do this without having something like this. It just drives me nuts otherwise. Then you got to go hunting for the little spring clips across the shop floor how many umpteen times, and yeah. Oh, no, it's already out there. Okay. Okay, so now I just need my 11/16 to hold the injector. And my fifth, oh no, I'm getting ahead of myself. I still need the 7/16 to take off the return line. Got to take that off, otherwise, well, you just you ain't gonna get your 15/16 over that now, are you? Nope. Nope, you're not. And now when I take these out, put this one back in for the time being. But when I take them out, I'm going to number them because I do want the same injectors to go back in the same spot. I don't know if it matters or not, but I'd feel better if they were in the same spot that they came out of, if that makes sense. Okay. Now we can take and get the rest of these out. Well, that one ain't tight at all either. What's going on? And this is no wonder why this thing is running so crappy. Oh. Now there's a little O-ring on here on each one of these to help kind of keep dirt out from underneath that nut. But when you're trying to take the thing off, it's really a pain. we'll take that off the rest of the way, so it ain't gonna affect what we're doing. And we're just gonna go down the line, take these all out, take a look at them, and we'll get them inspected. Well, this one's pretty carboned up, but you can see where it was definitely making some kind of atomization. Oh, wait a minute. No, not very good. Okay, so it's clean, and then there's one spot where there's a hole, it's clogged because it's nothing but carbon. And then, yeah. Okay, so I was getting like maybe 3/4 of the atomization that I was supposed to off of that one. All right, we'll put that one in and check out the next one because it's probably not even in there all the way. Get my O-ring out of there. All right. See, this one's in here good. All right, that one was in there tight. That one must have had a little bit of a leak to it, so they actually had to do their job. Oh, no. Oh, all right. I know I had one that was loose, that number one. It was leaking fuel out of it, and all I did is I tightened it up. You know, and after I tightened it up a little bit, didn't take much, it quit leaking right away. And I just couldn't get it to come back around. Now with all these new filters and fresh fuel, and I got a little bit of sea foam and everything to kind of help bust up the gunk, maybe I was thinking maybe it would come back around, but it's just not. And that's just the way it goes. Oof. A lot of rust on that. Now don't panic, that rust is inside the head, not inside the motor. Same deal on this one though. It's got carbon built up on one side, and then the other side is clean, like maybe only half of it. Half the holes were actually atomizing. Pretty sure we're onto something here. We'll get these things freshened up, and this thing will be like brand new. Brand used anyway. Come on, there we go. go. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say all these are pretty cruddy. It's probably a wonder it was running as good as it was. Well, that's just the stuff you got to deal with. Oh, hey, one of my washers finally came out. See, this one's looking wet too. I wonder if this cylinder wasn't firing either. See, this is that. It's an actual Bosch injector. It definitely is not the original one. Either way, looking at it ain't going to make it run any better, I'll tell you that much. Stick that right back there for now. Number 6, the last one. All right. Oh, come on, get in there. Oh, that stupid O-ring. Oh, geez, that one's looking really cruddy too. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's probably why I'm not running good, is because of all these injectors. So now, all I gotta do is not touch anything on the nozzle. If you're still watching this video, do not take a wire wheel or sandpaper to the nozzle. Don't do it, or you're gonna get new nozzles if you want to or not. Guy at the diesel shop stressed that. I took him some injectors that were cleaned up, and I just kind of basically used some wore out Scotch-Brite pad. I didn't even really, and he was panicking. He thought I took a wire wheel to him. Like, no, man, I just wiped him off with some Scotch-Brite. And he said, oh, okay, well, that's okay. Don't use a wire wheel and don't use sandpaper. Apparently, he had that happen quite often. So don't be one of those guys. Okay, so I'm going to number them all and take them to the diesel shop and have them fixed, and then we'll put them back in and see if we still have a misfire. Hopefully not. All right. So it's been 3.5 weeks. That's why I've been gone so long. I've been waiting 3.5 weeks for these. Now, They were all pretty much corroded, rusted, or just all together just pooched out. They were bad. The only thing left original on these injectors is the externals. The internals have all been replaced, and so now all we got to do is hope and pray and dream that this is going to fix everything. But so I got my little 12 gauge shotgun cleaning kit here. I'm going to run down the bores real quick. I'm going to throw all this stuff back together, and I think I've eaten up quite a bit of time on this video so far, so I'm just going to do all this real quick and then bring you right back when I'm ready to start it. All right. Okay, so I got it all back together. All I gotta do now is bleed the air out of the line, so I'm ready to just crank it over, get the lines bled, and then hope and pray that this fixes it, because if it don't, I'm gonna cry. So I'm gonna crank it over and hope for the best. I really need to get a new battery. Okay, try this again. That's fuel coming out of all of them. I'd like to crank it just a little bit more, but I gotta wait for my battery again. All right, crank it just a little bit more. I've got fuel coming out of all of them, so I just want to crank it just a little bit more, make sure I got all the air out of it. Looks like we're starting pretty good. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. It's really squirting out of there. We're going to call that a success. Although now that I got the alternator back on, this is not going to be easy to get this first one. Okay, so with any luck, I should be able to get this thing to start, and hopefully notice it runs significantly better right off the bat, because it was for sure not running on 1 and 5, and that made for one crappy running motor. So I'm hoping I ought to notice a difference right away, and if it does seem to run better, I want to back it outside and let it run for a minute and make sure it stays running good. Kind of wants to turn the battery charger up to 11, I guess. All right, 150 amps, let's go. Where's my starting fluid at. Courage. Oh, now the battery is on. Well, I can tell you right off the bat that it's running much, much better. I'm going to have to hope and pray that that's going to be the final fix for that. I'll let it warm up a little bit. It's not even really smoking much now. Before it was smoking like crazy. Now it's pretty clean. I'll let it run. About 45 pounds of oil pressure. Sit and look for leaks and see what we got. I forgot to hook the tag back up. No oil's coming out of it now. Fine. Fine. So it looks like that was it. It was just a bad case of bad injectors. So I guess they were pretty well just stuck, a couple of them, and some of them they did in fact have rust in them, and that was in fact a problem. And I guess I was barking up the right tree, because the first thing I checked was there was no blow-by. So then I checked valve lash. So there was no reason for loss of compression that I could plainly see without doing a compression test on it. And compression's not the issue. This thing runs great. It runs really good. Matter of fact, I'd say it's a very healthy motor. or engine, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so new set injectors, only a measly $800 to get those fixed and put back in there. And I can't wait to actually use this thing for something. Now, I still have some things to do to it, and I was gonna see about getting it painted, but my old man called the paint guy, and he just can't get to it anymore this year. So that's fine. So we're going to use it this year. I got a 4-row planter for planting sweet corn. I'm going to be looking forward to using that. And otherwise, use it for an auger tractor. And yeah, that's probably pretty much all it's going to do. Probably move around the yard. But anyway, that was really all I got for this week's video, and last week, and the week before that, and the week before that. I think I'm behind like 3 or 4 videos. I just wanted to get this one done before I started another video. That's just the way I like to do it. But anyway, enough rambling, and I got all kinds of stuff coming up here in the future. All kinds. Just more John Deere stuff. That's pretty much all I do. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching, and see you next time.